I spent 10 years building a world in my head. 10 years of daydreaming, of imagining characters, of plotting storylines, all locked inside my skull because I was waiting for inspiration to strike. And when it did strike, I'd write frantically, 5,000 words in one sitting, then nothing. A month of silence, then a page, then another drought, then a frenzy again, and it was exhausting. I'd restart, I'd get to a certain point, I'd hit a wall, I'd convince myself that it was wrong, and then I'd start over. I'd restart once, twice, again, and then 10 years of that cycle. Some writers work that way, and it works for them, but for me, it was torture. It was watching a decade slip away while my world stayed trapped in my head because I couldn't figure out how to make the words come consistently. And then at the end of 2023, I finished the first draft of that story. A year and a half later, I'd written another complete novel. And then 5 months after that, I started planning another one. And the difference wasn't inspiration. It was everything else. Creativity is not a talent. It's a way of operating. I recently watched a lecture by John Cleese, one of the founding members of Monty Python, and it articulated exactly what I've been learning the hard way. Cleese has 5 conditions that he says make creativity more likely. Not guaranteed, never guaranteed, but more likely. These are space, time, confidence, and humor. So let's go through each of these. Cleese says you can't be playful, you can't be open if you're under your usual pressures. To cope with pressure, you have to be in closed mode, focused, decisive, efficient. So to create, you have to physically remove yourself from that. Seal yourself off, make a quiet space where you're going to be undisturbed. I felt this was really true during the 12-hour experiment I did and a few of my other experiments, and having that sealed, protected time and space, knowing that nothing was going to interrupt me, changed everything. Everything for me. My brain could actually relax into the work instead of bracing for the next demand on my attention. And here's where it gets interesting, because Agatha Christie, one of the best-selling novelists of all time, never had a particular room or a place where she went to write. She could write anywhere. Her friends said that they never even knew when she was writing because they never actually saw her do it. She'd just quietly disappear for half an hour or so and then just come back with pages. Her creative space wasn't a room, it was internal. So a question I want to sit with for myself, and I'm going to test in a couple of weeks, is whether the space Cleese is talking about is always a physical place or whether it's something that you can learn to carry with you. Condition number 2 is time. Part 1. Cleese said that space alone isn't enough. You also have to protect that space for a specific period of time, a clear start and a clear stop. And when you combine space and time together, you create this oasis, this haven that lets you create a place where the world can't reach you and where you can actually let yourself open up. I really feel this, knowing that I have a start and a stop point to my writing session, knowing that at a certain point I'm going to return to reality and that reality is still going to be there, is what allows me to actually lift that weight off my shoulders for that window. And without that boundary, the thoughts just spinning around in my head never stop. The calls I need to make, the things I need to do, all of it. But with the boundary, I can actually sink into the story. Cleese says it actually takes some time for your brain to stop panicking because our brains are wired to prefer certainty over ambiguity and things we know we can do over things we're not sure about. And I feel this. Creativity is inherently uncertain, which is why I think creativity is an act of bravery. Every single time, an act of daring to step into uncharted territory and to explore. And because of this, Cleese says 30 minutes isn't enough. He suggests around 90 minutes, so an hour and a half, enough time to let your brain race, calm down, and actually settle back into the work. But not to set aside a whole morning, because after 90 minutes, he says you need a break. So his advice is to schedule focus sessions a few times a week rather than carving out this enormous block of time. And this is where I half agree with him and half don't, because I think if you're so fixed on needing 90 minutes, on needing an hour and a half before creativity is even worth attempting, then the task just feels monumental. It becomes another thing on this endless to-do list that requires conditions that you can't actually meet. The thought that, hey, I have to find another hour and a half, a chunk of time when my whole life is already in chaos and I have no time to do anything to even make writing worthwhile, this is something that many of us will find as a block before we even begin. It's in those moments when you think, I don't have 90 minutes, so I'm not going to write today because it'll be pointless. And then tomorrow comes and the day after that, and you keep coming to the same conclusion. So I'd like to challenge that. I think that it's true that it takes a little time to really sink into the story or the creative practice that you're working on. But I think even tapping into it for 10 minutes is so worth it. Every single Pomodoro, 25 minutes in my case, with a gentle timer can be enough to slip back into the art that you're creating. And I found that Pomodoros for me are a great hack because the short window actually tricks my brain into focusing faster. And I know that because the time is running out, I'd better get on with it. I don't know if you've tried them. If you have, let me know how they felt and if there was a certain period of time that worked better for you. For me, it's 25 minutes. If I do a 45-minute timer, I don't like it. My brain just starts running wild. And yeah, let me know. Let me know how it worked for you. Anyway, back to time. Rather than asking yourself, how much time do I need? Ask yourself, what is the minimum amount of time when creativity feels safe, when it feels like something you're able to do, not something overwhelming, not something that's just drowning under your to-do list, but possible. Condition number 3, time. Part 2. Cleese draws on his years at Monty Python for this one. He noticed that the most creative solutions came not from grabbing the first idea that arrived, but from staying with the problem for longer, sitting in the discomfort of not having solved it yet, tolerating the uncertainty, and giving his mind enough room and time to move past the obvious answer towards something more original. And I believe him. There's real magic in letting something marinate, in stepping away and letting your unconscious do the work. Those shower thoughts, those half-asleep realizations, those moments where the answer just arrives when you weren't even looking for it. That's magic there. But I also think that unlimited pondering time without structure is destructive to your creativity. It's avoidance wearing creativity's clothing. With creative fields, especially when we have no external expectations or deadlines, it's so easy to get lost in the pondering time. I know that because I lived it. I did it for 10 years of letting my world build itself up in my head, of waiting for the right moment to write, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the right idea, waiting for the feeling of confidence, and 10 years of pondering without deciding, and nothing got made. Nothing, not because I wasn't creative, and yeah, sure, I did write random scenes, but nothing got finished in that time because I never committed to a direction long enough to find out where it led. I never went down a dead-end road and had to backtrack, and I never made a bad decision and learned something faster than any amount of thinking would have ever taught me. So here's what I know now, that taking a decision, even a wrong one, teaches you something. Following a thread to the point where it breaks teaches you something. The perfectionist spiral of pondering without any outcome teaches you nothing except how to stay stuck. So yeah, give yourself time to ponder. Step away when you hit a wall. Let your unconscious process and come back. But set a boundary on how long you're gonna wait before you commit to something, because the most creative version of you isn't the one with the most time to think. It's the one that keeps showing up and keeps deciding and keeps learning and moving forward. Condition 4, confidence. Cleese says that when you're in your oasis, when you've created your space and protected your time, the single biggest destroyer of creativity is the fear of making a mistake. Because creativity is at its core playfulness, it's openness, it's the willingness to explore without knowing where you're gonna go and trusting that whatever happens, it'll be okay. And you can't be playful if you feel like moving in one direction is gonna be wrong, and you can't explore if you feel like every step is a test that you might fail. You have to be willing to say something silly and to follow a thread to nowhere and just to write a scene that doesn't work and know that none of it is a disaster. Any of it can lead to a breakthrough. I think one of the best ways to build this kind of confidence is to find other places in your life where you already play without fear. For me, it's puzzles. When I'm doing a puzzle, I pick up a piece and I try it in a spot, and if it doesn't fit, I don't spiral. I'm not all like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible at puzzles. I should never do puzzles again. This is terrible. It didn't work. What am I thinking? I don't do that. I just put it down and I try another one, and eventually the whole thing comes together, and it doesn't matter that I got pieces wrong 5,000 times along the way. The result is the same. So writing can be like that. Every word, every dead-end scene, every chapter that you eventually cut, it's just pieces in the puzzle that didn't fit in the right place. So put them down, try another one, and keep going. Condition 5, humor. Cleese says that humor gets us from closed mode to open mode faster than anything else because laughter brings relaxation, and relaxation brings playfulness, and playfulness is where creativity lives. And yet, when we try to solve a problem, when we're trying to create something that matters to us, we get serious. We confuse seriousness with solemnity, and we behave in this grave, weighted way because we think it gives the work the gravitas it deserves. But that's not creativity. That's just a social construct we've absorbed about what hard work is supposed to look like, and it's just not real. It's not true. Now, my friends will tell you, and they're not wrong, that I have absolutely no sense of humor. I am probably the worst person at telling jokes you will ever meet. Ever. And we laugh about this regularly, which is quite ironic, but I laugh freely. I love play. I love spontaneity. And in our little creative oasis, Cleese says we should just giggle all we want. And maybe you're better at telling jokes than me and using humor to tackle challenges, and that's great. All I want to remind you is laugh. Laugh at the silly mistakes you make, laugh at the weird things that you're gonna make your characters do, and laugh when you reach a dead end and think, oh my gosh, what on earth was I thinking? So just keep bringing the lightness into the act of creativity and just laugh. So here they are, Cleese's 5 conditions for creativity: space, time, confidence, and humor. Not a guarantee, but a framework for making creativity more likely. And I think that's all any of us can really ask for. Next week, I'm gonna be getting really practical with this. We're gonna talk about mini habits, little tips, tricks, tiny hacks that can help you actually build these conditions into a real life that doesn't always cooperate. And then the week after that, I'm gonna be experimenting with one of the things that Cleese said, space. He tells us to seal ourselves off, to create a quiet, undisturbed space. And I believe him. I've believed this for years, and I've always created my little creative havens. But I also want to know what happens when you create an oasis internally rather than externally. So I'm going to test writing in different physical environments to find out whether the space that Cleese is talking about is always a place or whether it's something that you can learn to carry with you. Over here, I'm going to leave this month's craft lab where we talk about Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg and her thoughts on creativity in case you missed that. Now, I'm going to see you next week. Until then, happy writing.